The Fargo Five, I'm Conrad Fargo. We're jumping into Fargo Famous. We've got Caroline J. McGuire here from CJM Yoga. Hello, Caroline.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you so much for coming in. Now, you are Caroline, not Carolyn. We were talking about that. We've talked about that before. My mother's name is Carolyn. She'll be very happy that we're talking about her. But you got lucky. We're not going to be playing Sweet Caroline or anything today. So it's
Great.
all Halloween music,
Love
which,
it.
because I'm sure you're sick of that song.
I do get a lot of shout outs when that song comes on, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But yes, anybody with a famous song name knows.
Fortunately, there are no Conrad songs, so I don't got to worry about that.
Yet.
No, yet. Yes, yet to be made. Yet to be made. Okay, so you, how long have you been living in Fargo now?
Depends. I moved to Fargo in 2013 when I graduated
wow.
from college.
Okay.
Moved away to go try living in the Seattle area where my husband is from
Okay.
for basically all of the pandemic, end of 2019 to beginning of 2021. Moved back, and we've been here since then.
So when you got into yoga, you are a yoga extraordinaire. I know you from the YMCA. You teach there. You did that in 2018.
I did.
Is when you got so right before the pandemic, and then you guys moved out to Seattle.
Yes.
Okay, so did you do your yoga stuff out in Seattle?
I did not. I did it here out of a studio based out of Minneapolis called Dave and Adi.
Okay.
They actually have a training upcoming starting in January, but I got my 200-hour certificate. So that is a good chunk of time spent studying, and then I've been studying ever since and teaching on and off since as well.
Well, that was just you getting your training or your studying with that school, but you must have been. So I've taken quite a few yoga classes. One of the great things about the YMCA is they are very affordable monthly, and you can take these yoga classes. They're always packed. Yours is probably the best one I've ever been to. You're a very good yoga instructor. How long have you, has this been a lifelong passion of yours?
Not lifelong. When I was the year that I graduated from college, my roommate's girlfriend was going through teacher training at the time, and she did a little session outside to practice teaching on us with us, and I kind of got hooked ever since. I started doing YouTube yoga almost every day, and then mostly my practice was postural up until I went through teacher training, and then it got very
What
spiritual.
does that mean, postural?
It means the poses were the primary focus of my practice. And then it has evolved into more of the spiritual side of things, some of the mystical things, the more...
When I've noticed you bring that to the class, you use a little bit more of the verbiage than some of the other teachers. You're very much into it. Tell me more about the spiritual side of it. So what's the spiritual side of yoga?
So that is yoga, really. It is a spiritual practice. It's essentially a what's the word? Amalgamation? Big joining
Conglomeration?
together. Conglomeration.
Yeah.
There you go. Of it's a health system that consists of spirituality as well.
Somebody didn't put their phone on silent, and that somebody is me. This has happened once before. Here's hoping nobody calls me. Don't call me. So it's an amalgamation of many different, and it comes from the Near East, right? It comes from...
Yep. The yoga that I practice is the Vedic tradition. So it comes from India. The Vedas are a scripture, a text that's one of the most ancient texts in human history. And it writes down essentially the practice of yoga. It's been passed down as an oral tradition through gurus. And it made its way to the U.S. in the West, and it looks a little bit differently here. And my teacher teaches to the Vedic tradition, and I try to do that as well in my classes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And your classes really are, I'd say, a cut above the rest. You're really into it. It's so very interactive. Those are every Monday. And then you also do the studio. I mean, so is yoga your full-time thing? Is that what you're doing pretty much all the time?
Well, it's definitely full-time in my mind. I stay at home with my son and my nephews for my full-time job, I guess,
sure.
if that's even a paid gig.
Yeah.
But I teach part-time at the Y specifically, 4:30s on Sundays, 5:30s on Mondays. And then I do prenatal and postpartum yoga through a cooperation of Family Wellness and Sanford as well, and those classes are on Sundays. Otherwise, I teach out of my home studio, and what I'm primarily teaching there are workshops that dive deeper into the philosophy of yoga.
Yeah, that's very cool. And that's through the Family Wellness. So that's
That one, the workshops that I do are just through my business, CJM Yoga.
Oh, okay. Very, very cool. Well, that's exciting. And then you were telling me before that yoga has some kind of connection with Halloween or 1031 or just this time of year.
Well, there are alignments in the Vedic tradition
Okay.
at this time of year. When I say that yoga and Halloween are kind of connected, it's mostly because yoga and Ayurveda, its sister science, are very like witchy things.
Yeah.
If they say if you practice yoga in a certain way, you can develop siddhis or yogic powers.
Yeah.
Those are some of the fun things that you can learn as you dive deeper into scriptures. You can think of yogis levitating or moving things with their minds. But then also potion making and healing practices are done through Ayurveda.
Very cool. That's so cool. All right, now we are going to be talking about your event coming up here after the music break. But first, we're going to have This Is Halloween, which, of course, is a perfect song choice for today because, today is Halloween. You had sent this to me. This is from Marilyn Manson. I didn't even know he had a cover of this. So we're going to listen to Marilyn Manson's cover of This Is Halloween, come back with some Fargo fun. Don't go nowhere.